Hello, everybody. It's Lenny Murphy here with another one of our interview segments. And today I am blessed to have the man, the myth, the legend, Eric Salama, world's toughest CEO of Kantar. How are you, Eric?
I'm reeling from your introduction. I'm fine, thank you.
Well, you know, it's a little bit of Irish in me. I've got to have a touch of the Blarney Stone. But respect for you is certainly profound and has been for a long time. So we were chatting beforehand that you've had a hell of a year. Things you didn't expect and things that you did expect. And now it's all played out. Or playing out. So I want you to kind of talk about that. Talk about how we got to this point in 2019 for Kantar and for you personally.
Well, I mean, the Kantar stuff, I think is pretty straightforward in the sense that we decided a while ago, I'm going back probably 15 months or so, that Kantar could be a better partner for its clients and could grow faster and have a bigger impact in the market, be a better place for our employees if we had a different ownership structure. We really launched that process in around October 2018. We spent 5 months or so putting together a business plan, stress tested it every which way, really thought about the next 5 years in a way that we have never thought of before, and then went out and talked to probably 15 or so private equity companies. We got bids from about half of those. We then narrowed that down to 4 companies to take into a second round due diligence. We spent probably about 6 weeks with those 4 companies, and 2 in particular. Did a lot of work with us. We got final bids, and we selected Bain Capital in the end as the partner to go forward with, which we're absolutely thrilled with. I mean, we're thrilled about them as a partner, and we have a shared ambition to grow the business in a certain way, and to really take it forward.
So, it's interesting. This is at least the second research play for Bain. Where the first one being, Macromill. What attracts them to this industry specifically?
I mean, they did quite outside the formal process. They did a ton of work in the market, talking to clients, talking to commentators, talking to ex-employees, talking to a whole bunch of people, but primarily clients. And I think they came to the same conclusion as us, which is we're in a growing market. All clients want to put data and insights at the heart of their decision making. The demand for what we do is big and is growing. And clients said to them, Kantar is unique in terms of having a global scale. We really trust them. We like the fact that they understand what's happening and why it's happening. So it's a unique asset. So I think they came away thinking it's an industry in transformation. There's lots of stuff that needs doing in terms of particularly introducing more and more technology and speeding up the processes. But it's an industry that's growing. It's an industry in need of transformation, which is attractive for a PE buyer. And Kantar is a unique asset. So I think that combination of things was probably the mix that really made them very passionate about the business.
So, one of the things that's always impressed me about Kantar and leadership has been the almost constant evolution. From kind of the house of brands that was in play for a few years to beginning to consolidate that. You saw that needed to happen to bring things under a point of contact. That's certainly we had heard from folks as well. Of course, your bets on technology partners, the early backing of Zappi, and kind of recognizing where the world was going to go from an automation perspective and how that process is going to play out, and then bringing that in-house eventually. You've done many bold things to disrupt your own business in a variety of ways. So what does that look like now? Is that path going to continue? And what are some of the things you can share without giving away the secret sauce, if you will, as you think about the future with a partner like Bain, of further ways that you're going to embrace disruption yourself to get to that future state of what Kantar may look like?
Yeah, I think generally speaking, in the world that we're in, you can either be the disruptor or you can be the disrupted. There isn't a middle area there where you can just happily keep on going as you were. And I'd much rather be the disruptor than the disrupted, and that does mean disrupting our own business. And you've seen that kind of evolution. I mean, as you say, we've gone from having dozens and dozens of different brands gradually over a period of time to going to market with one brand. And that's really designed to make us a simpler partner to work with, without losing the expertise and the specialisms which clients really value. We need to become simpler. We changed all of our incentives a few years ago so that people get rewarded on the basis of client satisfaction and overall Kantar results. That was a big step forward. We have done a lot of technology kind of self-disruption, and the most obvious example of that at the moment is Marketplace, where clients can self-serve around concept testing and around copy testing. And we think of it as clients need a choice. They need the deep diagnosis and the longer time period that they sometimes need for more important campaigns. And they need really quick turnaround. I want it back in a day and I want it much cheaper. So I think we have to continue to do that. And I think what you'll see us do going forward is really try and behave more and more like a startup within a big corporate environment. And I would say, from a client point of view, speed and simplicity are the two key needs. We need to radically shorten turnaround times and delivery times, and we're working with a number of our clients to do that. And by that, I don't mean, cut a day or two off stuff. I mean halve the time, make it a third of the time in terms of turnaround, do some stuff in real time, as we do in Latin America with media at the moment. So make everything much more real time, make everything much more predictive, make everything much more forward looking. So that's an agenda which really requires much more technology investment, automation, and a different way of working with clients. It requires clients to also come along that journey with us, which all of them are doing. And simplicity, we need to be able to offer up the best of Kantar in a really simple way. We need to be able to do that so that clients get the same answer, whichever part of Kantar they touch. We need to maintain our specialisms and our expertise, but get people to work together around a client issue and a client solution. So we'll continue to do that. And I think we've got all of the ingredients within the business to be able to be our client's major partner going forward.
That's fantastic. So, for personal observation, and you may remember this, years ago, I was in conversations with you guys, with Kim Dedeker, around this innovation role, and my thought was, and that is a recipe for failure, because at that point, there were still so many fiefdoms within the company, right? Everything was so spread around, and now I kind of kick myself and think, well, damn, I wish that we had a conversation, because I don't think it's recipe for failure anymore. You've done all those things that needed to be done. So for whatever that's worth, not that you need the lending skill of approval, but since we had that very individual, just wanted to say, really hats off.
No, I remember that, and I think it's also important that we're proud of what we've done, but we don't kind of think it's job done, because actually there's a lot more to do, and we just need to always remember that our clients are going through huge disruption, and their needs in terms of the need for speed, simplicity, understanding of human beings at scale, that is accelerating. So it's nice to kind of pause and think backwards and think about all of the stuff that we've done well. But I think it's also equally important to look forward and to just be clear about what we need to do going forward to be successful and to help our clients. And if you think, if we just stick on the innovation point that you made, a lot of our innovations now are really cross Kantar. So what we're doing with holistic brand guidance, it's a different way of looking at brand tracking, which really is much more of a dashboard approach, which incorporates survey data, social media data, purchase data, media data. That innovation requires people from across all of Kantar to work together. Marketplace, we're putting lots of different types of solutions onto Marketplace. It requires tech teams, ops teams, different types of research teams to work together. Our cross-media audience measurement and effectiveness and ROI products requires people that used to work for what was called Millward Brown, with people that work for what used to be called Kantar Media and Lightspeed, and all of these people to work together. So a lot more of our innovation requires the kind of collaboration which we're now getting within the business and which has been a real focus over the last few years.
That's great. So you had mentioned in another interview that one of the benefits of having Bain as a partner obviously would be the able to make investments that you couldn't make before, and you mentioned that in this call already as well. So as you think about what those investments be, right? What are the areas that you are interested in? And we'll use this as kind of a call to action for all the startups out there, right? Hey, if you can solve this problem or have an interesting capability, we're going to be looking at this. What is there a short list of things?
So I think there's a combination of investing in stuff so that we can grow faster organically, and we've got a number of products and services that we've rolled out that we're now trying to roll out to more and more markets. So we launched something called World Panel Plus, for example, in the UK, where we capture all of consumers' purchase behavior through smartphone app technology, and we build a panel which is 100,000 strong as opposed to 40,000 strong. Now that's working really well for our clients in the UK, but we're now in the process of rolling that out to China and to Brazil, and we want to do that in France and Spain. So some of the investment that we're talking about is organic growth investment. In terms of acquisitions, I don't think it's going to be a surprise to you, but the kind of areas that are interesting to us are things like behavioral data, social media data, analytics, purchase panels, a whole bunch of things, e-commerce, those types of things that are important to our clients, and technologies which enable us to do things better, faster, cheaper, more comprehensively than we do at the moment. And I think we are a really good partner for startups who are looking to sell for two reasons. One is we do offer the ability to those companies to really scale their offer with a great client base around the world. And I think the second one is, if you look around our business, we've got a lot of people in senior leadership positions now who sold their businesses to Kantar at some stage over the last 20 years. I came through an acquisition. Nick Nyhan, our chief digital officer, came through an acquisition. Mark Ryan, who leads all of our profile panel development work, came through an acquisition. We've just got a whole, Phil Smiley, who leads our consulting business, came through an acquisition. Wayne Levings, who's our chief client officer, came through an acquisition. So I could just go through a long list of people. Lynette Cook, who runs our health business, came through an acquisition. So I'm really proud of the fact that companies that have sold to us in the past have also generated more career opportunities for their people, and people have developed and thrived and gone on to careers which they couldn't have done in a small startup or a small company. So I think for both people reasons and scaling of business reasons, we are a really good partner for companies around the world. And if there are people out there who are listening who have got something that they think is interesting, then please do give me a call.
So there's always been roadblocks, particularly in within the industry, for more service-based organizations to make plays with more technology-based organizations, primarily because of non-fit from a valuation perspective. That's always an area. And often with private equity-backed businesses, they're so EBITDA-driven, looking for that 1 + 1 = 3 scenario versus being true investors to help get to that greater value accretion, right? So often it's around arbitrage versus, long-term investment. As you think about this scenario with, do you think that there's a path where you really can function as an accelerator for a technology-based company that looks financially different than normal, or are you still going to be kind of limited to looking at more of those arbitrage type of plays to scale the platform because you're working with a private equity company?
I mean, I think that I've discovered through the process that there are just because you're called a PE company doesn't mean that you all look. There are PE companies with hugely different strategies, in the same way that there are advertisers with very different strategies, and there are employees who bring different skills. And so I wouldn't bucket all PE companies into the same box. And part of the reason for us going with Bain Capital was a really shared belief about how we grow this business. And how we grow this business is scale things which we can scale even further, simplify, make ourselves more client-centric than we are at the moment, invest in the things that can really grow. So that's the agenda that we've got, and we're not looking at a kind of quick 1 year, let's restructure and make lots of money somehow, and we're trying to build an even better sustainable business. That's the ambition. The ambition isn't to make money quick. The ambition is to build something which has even bigger impact in the marketplace, in which we can all look at and think we're incredibly proud to be having this kind of impact on our people and our clients. So that's a genuinely shared ambition that we all hold, and I think they bring to us lots of skills, particularly around IT and ops and technology, to enable us to execute faster and more successfully against what is a very ambitious rollout plan that we have.
Okay, that's great. That's great to hear. So I'm going to be conscious of time. If you could encapsulate the kind of end state vision of this next 2 to 3 years of Kantar growth, what does that look like? What is the milestone that you want to get to that you can say, okay, we have accomplished these goals, and now that's a stage gate to our next phase of development? What does that look like?
Well, the overarching ambition is to really deliver human understanding at scale. So it's to really help all of our clients, global multinationals, big local companies, long tail clients, understand people as people, and to be able to understand the implications of that for what they do, and for us to help them develop their strategies on the back of it. So it's kind of really holistic understanding and really simple recommendations and strategies on the back of that. Now, how we get there, we've got some milestones. We've got a new suite of brand guidance products which are in the market. We've got a new suite of media and cross-media and ROI-related products in the market. We've got a suite of artificial intelligence tools which allow us to really be much more predictive and help clients do things which they just couldn't do before. So from an innovation point of view, we've got a very ambitious agenda, which we deliver to some clients in some places at the moment. So from a milestone point of view, it's really delivering the best of what we've got to all of our clients around the world. And it's more about the consistency of doing that and the speed of that. So we still have too much stuff at the moment, which takes too long, which requires manual workarounds. So if you and I were having this conversation in 3 years' time, I hope what you would recognize in the business is a much more tech-driven business, one where everything is delivered much faster, much more real time. It's much more forward-looking, and that's across the board in terms of everything from our insights services through our consulting services. So I think just seeing that develop and transforming ourselves into that type of company is what I hope you'll see over the next 3 years.
Well, I am certainly not going to bet against you based on your track record of transforming the business so far. So, and I think it makes sense. And that, you're almost the textbook case of what we've been talking about for years on in grid, et cetera, for what does the future company, insights organization look like, right? So, and that doesn't mean to take credit that you've been following. We copied you with thinking, yeah, Kantar is doing this. That's what that's going to look like. And I just think, whatever, again, hats off. You have continually shown that leadership of transforming the business and leading the industry into whatever this future state looks like. So
well, that's very kind of you to say, Lenny. But as you expect me to say, I mean, it genuinely is. It's 28,000 people around the world who, at the moment, are very excited and highly engaged about the future, and it requires all of those people to kind of behave and to transform ourselves, and as you said earlier on, to sometimes cannibalize ourselves. But there's a very big team here, and I think our clients recognize that it's not about a single person; it's about the teams working on their business.
Yeah, sure, fair enough. All right, so again, cautious of time. Appreciate the opportunity to sit down and chat with you. It's always a pleasure.
Always lovely talking to you. Thank you. And thank you for everything that you guys are doing through, the reports that you write and the blogs that you write, because we do actually look at all of them and kind of absorb it. And it's a great way of understanding and benchmarking ourselves.
Great. Well, thank you. Then I guess we're mutual admiration society, Eric.
Yeah,
thanks.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Lenny.
Yeah.